Hello everyone. Well, today is a very exciting day out indeed for me because I've been told only a day or so ago about a new spring, and the location I need to look for is this pumping station, and I've literally followed my nose here and successfully found it. So I'm in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales, and I'm now going to take the walk which I've been indicated is going to lead me to the spring itself. I'm actually looking for this very, very small copse of trees on the other direction to the pumping station. And indeed, as soon as I reach this point, I can hear the sound of the water quite clearly. Sounds like a good flow. Very good flow indeed, as you can see. When I take my attention over the wall, I can see the course, and that is the spring itself. That is a bubbling spring. That is the water coming up from deep underground at exactly that point, travelling this very short distance of maybe 20 feet from the source to the outflow pipe. I will, however, go and investigate the source. It's such a rare opportunity to do, so I will do this. So I'll just follow the wall up a little bit, and rather than scrambling over, which by my usual preference, I'll use the place that's being created. So they call it St Helens Well. So that's first mistake, is not a well, it's a spring, and that's a proof. It's literally springing out of the ground. Entry by permission only. Will I give myself permission? People entering this site do set their own risk. Well, that applies to everywhere we go in life, so that's no worries. Here we go then. So this looks like a shoes and socks off job to get over there and get my sample from where the water is actually bubbling up, which I'll then do some tests for. Well, it turns out it is possible to go around the edge and get the water out getting wet. And this is my first pint I've just drawn. Just going to give it the most significant test right now. It passes the doesn't want to stop drinking test. Perfect. I'll do a bit of scientific analysis now. So my first test is going to be electrolyte conductivity. Let's just find out what the mineral content in this water is like. So place the truncheon in, and it's flashing at 0.6. That's wonderful news. Now the Lothersdale water is 0.5. This 0.6 are even more lime in this water, which means I predict it's going to be around pH 8, or maybe even a little bit higher than pH 8, which means it's alkaline water, which is the best for drinking. It's such a mysterious thing, human body. What you put into your body, if the water's alkaline, it's best. What you put onto your skin, if it's slightly acid, it's best. Peculiar thing. And most plants require slightly acid water, so this is absolutely splendid for drinking. So let's just do the pH test next. And the pH test is giving me a range which I actually don't believe. The thing about these wonderfully flashy looking meters is they can so easily give you false readings if you don't calibrate them often enough, and this hasn't been calibrated for a while. Got up to 6.8. Basically you have to wait until it stops flashing, and that's the range. 6.8, that's what it says. However, I don't believe it, so I'm going to use a good old-fashioned chemical test. For about £3 you can go and get a chemical pH testing kit, and ultimately they're more reliable. Let's just sort of see what that's got to say for itself. So this is my chemical pH testing kit, which ironically is much more reliable, even though much more fiddly to use. This one's been obtained from a hydroponic shop. So what you need is a small container like a test tube, ideally, some kind of a pipette. So I'll just add the water from the glass to the tube, fill it about a third full. That's plenty. Now what I've got to do now is to add 1 drop of universal indicator solution, like this. And it goes in, and just look at that colour. That is a really deep blue. That is a really strong colour. And then you compare it against your chart, and in fact it's not quite as alkaline as I thought. It's not pH 8.5, it's more like pH 8 according to the chart there. Don't know how easy that is to see, but that's what it is. It's a pH 8. So perfectly alkaline, ideal for drinking, absolutely delicious. Time for me to sit down and drink my pint. And as I watch the water bubbling up through the spring there, I immediately feel this sense of calmness and contentment, and it reminds me of one of the properties of water I found out about recently. It's so silly, I should have thought about it a long time ago, but here it is. If you are well hydrated, if you drink enough water, this is a really good way to de-stress yourself. So that's one of the symptoms of dehydration, is increased stress, and the cure for that is simply to de-stress. So as I move away from the spring, I can notice this pillar, and this is one of a series of pillars which used to exist. It's the only remaining pillar, and it formed part of a structure, and I'm indebted to this information from Kerry, who alerted to me the presence of this spring. So there was a whole structure in place around the spring, which is just to show us in ancient times the spring was very much venerated by the people of the area. Now it's time for my favourite bit of the process, which is harvesting of the water. So first of all I'll rinse my bottle out, which is very important to rinse your bottle before collecting. And then the joy of collecting from such a forceful outflow. There you have it, another bottle full of wonderful spring water. Another thing to do with the new spring water is just to take a look at the clarity of the water. And yeah, this is remarkably crystal clear water.